What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Underdogs podcast. We're moving on to episode number 14 now. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, we are down someone, Mike Taylor. He's out sick today, but we'll hold it down for him, and we hope he feels better soon.
Mike T.
Hope he feels better soon. As always, my name is Jordan Dale. We got Craig Smith and another special guest. Craig, I'm going to let you take it from here.
Yeah, today's a very special guest. We got the 8th pick in the 1999 draft, the Y2K draft. Okay, a 17 NBA vet. He only missed 3 games in his whole NBA career. 11th all-time in assists. Only NBA player to have at least 16,000 career points, 8,000 assists, and 1,500 steals without an all-star nut, which means he's a true underdog, and he definitely should have been an all-star. Everybody, please help me welcome Andre Miller to the Underdogs podcast. Andre Miller, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
We'll get right into it. This is usually Mike's special part of it, but let's just kind of get into your upbringing, kind of walk us through, where you grew up, what life was like, and, if you went through any struggles, kind of open up about that and, let people know.
Let us know about LA, man.
Well, man, Andre Miller, man, born and raised in Los Angeles. To be specifics, the Watts area. Just like any other area in Los Angeles, a little rough upbringing with, the gang influence and the crime and drugs back then. But, come from a big family. Great grandparents had 18 kids. My grandmother was the oldest. So it took a village to raise a family. Just a stable upbringing, to be able to deal with all the stuff that's going around. It was a lot of men involved in our family. My mom played mom and dad, and my outlet was basketball. Basketball, all sports for all the kids during the 80s and early 90s. Sports was the outlet, and I just took a hold of it, and everywhere you saw me, I had a basketball in my hand. Me and my family members, me and my friends, and we just had those dreams of being professional basketball players, watching Magic Johnson and the Lakers and the Clippers being close by. So, I was blessed enough to go to private school all my life. I ended up graduating from Verbum Day High School right there in Watts, so, I was right there in basketball and kind of took care of myself. Academics was good. And then after that, a guy came in the gym. I was playing some summer league. I never played travel basketball or anything. I went and jumped on a summer league team, played for Rockfish for a summer. And, I played probably about 5 or 6 games in one day. And then a guy came up to me, offered me a scholarship to the University of Utah. And pretty much the rest was history. I did 5 years at Utah. And then, was blessed enough to get my degree in sociology with a minor in criminology and decided to do the master's. But then I dropped out of that after graduating, and the basketball took care of itself and was able to knock out 17 years in the NBA. So I was blessed enough to stay healthy, and just a great experience, a great ride, and it went by fast. And I enjoyed my time. My boy here, Craig Smith, he knocked out a whole bunch of years in the NBA, and we were fortunate enough to be 2 LA guys that represented our communities, stayed under the radar in the right way, and took care of our families.
Yeah, man, well, it's cool that you bring up this Rockfish League because Antoine Tanner, who was on our podcast a little bit earlier from One Tree Hill, Coach Carter, he brung up like his start of basketball going to that Rockfish tournament. So can you kind of give us your experience in that Rockfish League? Because it's a ton of us that's come out of that. And then let's just go back and talk about like what high school was like at Verbum Day. Because in my opinion, being an LA guy and most LA people who are watching this, Verbum Day was one of those basketball schools growing up. There was a lot of different players that came out of there, but it's also a lot of different players who play there in the beginning and then transfer. For example, my guy like Hassan Adams. So can you just go through that? And give us a little bit of detail of both of those.
What's crazy is that, I didn't know the history of Verbum Day growing up. I mean, I walked those train tracks and walked all behind that school, all my upbringing, going to the park and going through the neighborhood. And all I knew, it was just a school right next to the elementary school. So I didn't know any of the history. And I tell people, like, one of the guys that everybody talk about, Raymond Lewis, he used to come in the gym and, he was considered a legend and we didn't even know who he was. And,
Wow.
all I knew was it was a private school and, it was right there. So my mom sent me right there. So it was a great experience. I needed that. It was a brotherhood, all boys school, and it was somewhat like a public school, but without girls. It just had the private part, the Catholic part to it. So, it was a great experience, great guys, great people come out of that school. And it was a community of men that support each other, something that I didn't know growing up. And, I never played travel ball. I just played the high school ball. And then one summer, somebody was just talking about Rockfish. And I never played the slam and jam or none of that. Never traveled to play any basketball anywhere. So like, oh, come over to LA City College and play with Dave Benezra and Rockfish. And I'm like, what's that? So my mom took me over there for a few weeks. And, I enjoyed the experience. The competition was great. It was some LA ballers, man. I can't even remember. It was so many great athletes.
Can you remember one person you played with?
I can't even remember, man. I just remember jumping on a few different teams, but I don't remember, man. It was so many good guys, man. So many good guys that was coming out of LA at the time. And, we were just all trying to live our dreams out, to be noticed and get a college scholarship to a Division I college. And it just played out for the best of it. The guy that actually recruited me, that came in the gym, was a guy named Donnie Daniels, who was an assistant at the University of Utah. And I didn't even know at the time that he was an alumni of the high school that I went to. So, it kind of just played it out. It all worked out for the best.
So yeah, like I believe Donnie Daniels ended up going to UCLA and then becoming a coach at Cal State Fullerton, and he was I had an official home visit with him.
Yeah,
I had a home visit. Yeah, so like that's cool. Like just to have that type of experience in the basketball world of having that 6 degree of separation of coaches with each other.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't get recruited by any of these, the UCLA, the USCs, none of the Pac-12 schools, Pac-10 schools at the time. And, Utah just kind of fell in my lap, and like I say, it played out for the best. I owe a lot to Donnie Daniels, for taking notice of me and pushing that message to Rick Majerus to offer me a scholarship. So, it worked out, man. It was tough, but, it was needed to get out of the community of Los Angeles and see something different. And I took advantage of it.
You finally get to Utah, right? Let's talk about, your career at Utah. Obviously you had a pretty successful one. If you're listening, definitely look up his stats. We'll run through a few of them, but you had some deep tourney runs. And, one we wanted to talk about specifically was you were credited for the 4th triple-double in NCAA tournament history when you had 18 points, 14 rebounds, and 13 assists, which is part of the reason Utah probably decided to retire your jersey, right? It's just crazy to think how successful of a college career you had where, you look at Utah now, I'm a lot younger. You don't see people come out of Utah too often. Talk about your experience in Utah and what that was like for you and everything you were able to accomplish.
Man, Utah, for me, if you would have told me, growing up, that I end up in Salt Lake City, Utah, I would have told you was lying. I didn't even know only thing I knew about Utah was the Utah Jazz and Karl Malone and John Stockton. And, I didn't know where it was on the map. I probably only been on the airplane maybe 2 times at the time. And, going out there at first, it was a culture shock, but, I was accepted by the community. I had to deal with the ups and downs just like you have to do with any place that you live at that's kind of, different. But, I needed that. I needed, to be away, to be able to concentrate on the academic part And then the basketball, I mean, it was probably the toughest grind that I ever had in my life. You know, just learning what it takes to, you know, be successful, you know, the hard work and the dedication that it took, you know, for me and my brothers. I call them my brothers at Utah, where I felt like we all thought a lot. We thought alike. And it was a brotherhood, man. I tell people it was probably the only time that I ever felt like I was on a team. You know, the NBA is a brotherhood, and you know it's the business part of it, and you got to go, you know, do your job. But you know, I was a kid, and you know, to be able to make those runs in the tournaments and the pressure and being on TV and representing your family on the collegiate level, man, it was the best experience. You know, I thought we should have went further, but you know, the one chance that I got was to play in front of my family and against Arizona and Anaheim Pond, and you know was able to get that triple double, which you know I still can't believe, but you know it was a special moment that 1998 year where we were able to make it to the national championship game.
So in that game, when you get that triple double, is that something that's you're cognitive about, you're aware about in that game, or are you just playing your game and you know doing you?
Well, everything about my college experience was day to day. Everything was day to day. I never thought about NBA. I never thought about tomorrow. You know, it was about how am I going to survive today, you know, as far as academically and as far as, you know, whether it was, you know, training table or, you know, everything. It was just a schedule that I had to stay on. So I wasn't thinking too far ahead as far as, you know, what I wanted to be in life. It was a constant grind. So I just took it day to day, man. It was nothing was promised to me at the time. And it was just at that time for me it was a survival and to try to get through school. And you know that it worked out, man. I got my degree. I didn't get in trouble too much. You know, I was a kid at the same time and I represented my family and myself the right way. I represented the university and it was all fun.
So after that triple double, like when did it occur in your mind, like, all right, man, I'm league ready. It's time to go to the league. Like it's time for me to take my talents like where all the best players in the world are.
Well, I felt, you know, at that time it kind of, you know, we was already on that stage from the previous year with Keith Van Horn, you know, and his success and going on to the NBA. And you know, we was on that stage, and it was like the triple double and the rematch against Arizona. You know, I never even thought about statistics or anything in college. It was just about winning the game. I never ever said to myself, "Oh, I'm gonna go score 10 points, 5 assists, or 3 steals." I never thought like that because we was like programmed. We was programmed in college. So, you know, to go through that experience and I'm like, man, I think I'm ready. But nobody, not even my coach and the assistants, like, oh, you going to the NBA? We never heard those type of things. So it was more of, you know, how I felt at the time. I thought I was ready. And then, of course, that's 1998 and the lockout hits. So I'm like, you know what? Check this out. There's no rush for me. Yeah. You know, there's no rush. You know, I was still, you know, day to day. I wasn't planning. I was like, you know what? What's the rush? Let me just kick back and take advantage of this extra year that I have in college.
And that's crazy that you say your assistant coaches and your coach like wasn't pushing, because it goes, you play for an iconic coach. You play for Rick Majerus, correct?
Yes.
Was it? Yes. The great Rick Majerus. So it was just like, I don't know, like to not hear that at that point, you know, just to let you know, like that time of where the flow was of really getting kids to go earlier a little bit in college.
Yeah, it wasn't even those conversations. Even when Van Horn was there, you know what I'm saying? He was a year ahead of me. And everybody knew, you know, like, hey, this guy's a pro. You know what I'm saying? Like he went second behind Tim Duncan. So that tell you how good he was.
Yeah.
And we just never heard those things. Those weren't conversations that we had amongst each other. Those weren't conversations that we had in practice. The coaches didn't say anything to us. You know, the only thing that I can say where we felt like we can compete on that level is, you got Utah. There's no professional football team, and you just have the Utah Jazz. So one thing that helped me get ready was, to go over before the Jazz would go to training camp for 3-4 years. We was always going to play pickup ball with those guys. Mm. Pickup balls and summertime hoops against the Jazz guys. I'm like, okay, I could keep up with these guys. But as far as the college experience, we never even talked about, hey, you going pro. We was just having fun being kids, man.
That's cool. Y'all was staying in the moment. And what's cool at that was, like, what people don't understand was, like, growing up in our eras, we didn't have trainers. We didn't have guys that we can go in and work on our skills. So how do we get better? We just had to play. And the advantage of most LA guys playing too was we got to play against the pros. And that was a perfect example. You got to go every summer and play against the NBA players. So you already getting a feel of what it's like in that competition for that next level, so it's dope.
Yeah, definitely good times.
I'm going to channel my inner Mike T, because I know he can't be here, but I have a feeling he would ask the question along these lines. So you mentioned you graduated with a degree in sociology, right?
Mm-hmm.
What made you kind of go that route? And, as you're going through these years in college, was it always kind of your plan to make sure you graduate college? Do you ever consider trying to go to the league earlier? Was education always kind of that priority?
Well, education was the priority first, just because I mean, to backtrack, I came into Utah as a non-qualifier. So I was a Proposition 48 where I couldn't even play my first year. So I had to prove that I can do the work academically before I even played. So what ended up happening was the classes that I was taking in college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, maybe I'll major in Spanish. I go take a Spanish class and they're not even speaking English. Well, let me get up out of this. I'm not. So, it was just like, a little bit of confusion, and, I just finding my niche. And it was a couple of professors that I had in the sociology department that kind of, made me veer to that way where I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And, back then everybody, oh, that's the athlete major. Well, it was a lot more than that. You know what I'm saying? So, just the experience, man, it was, the main thing was to get a good education and leave that university with a college degree. That was something that me and my mom, we actually never talked about me getting a degree. Who actually talked about me getting a degree was Rick Majerus. And that's what sold me on, going to the university. Like, he wasn't all talking about basketball this, basketball that. It was like, he told my mom, I can guarantee that your son is going to get an education. He's going to graduate college and he's going to come back home a man. And that was more important than the basketball. Of course, I'm a kid, like, I want to dribble the basketball, but, academics first.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm thinking about, like, my dad in this situation, like what he would do. And if he heard that from a coach, I'm pretty sure my dad would, like, make me sign that line that day.
Yeah.
When I know you said it was never kind of really on your radar, but once you realized, the NBA is something that's going to happen for you, what was that draft process like for you? We've heard stories about crazy workout schedules, different things with agents. We kind of want to hear your side of things and how that all happened for you.
Well, I was blessed enough, like I say, being on the stage and the NCAA tournament, bringing a lot of attention to the university and a lot of attention to me and a couple of my other teammates and just all the guys on the team. So I was fortunate enough I didn't have to go through all the workouts and the combines and all. I probably did like 7 to 8 workouts, and I end up being the 8th pick in the draft. And I, one thing I just remember was, interviewing agents and meeting people and the process and none of that stuff really, the business of basketball as far as the NBA process never really hit me probably till like about maybe 6 years in, because I was like, everything was so pure and authentic to me about the NBA, from watching TV, watching Magic Johnson, watching Larry Bird, watching Michael Jordan. Everything was authentic, like, like the music to the NBA when you watch it on Saturday and Sundays, you know, you know, all that, you know. So I kept the game in my heart and my mind as a dream. So I tried not to bring the business part to it. You know, the process was amazing. You know, I made some good friends along the way. You know, I wish I could have brought all my family to the green room at the draft. You know, I wish I could have changed that. It probably would have been 200 people in that green room. But you know, it was a great experience. It went by fast, man, and I stayed a kid during the process and enjoyed it.
Awesome. And let's dive a little bit more into that. You were just talking about your draft night experience. We had Cedric Zabalos on last week, and he kind of walked us through his draft night experience. We kind of want to hear yours. I know you just said you were in the green room. Kind of walk us through that. Was there any? Did you have any idea you were going at 8? Did you think you were going to go earlier? Kind of walk us through all that.
Well, once I got invited to the green room, I knew it was official. You know, you get that invite to the draft, like, oh, for real? And it was like basically you knew that you was going to be a top pick. It was just about getting your name called. But the funniest thing, you know, like you watch in today's society and in different years in the NBA, the process of, you know, getting dressed, wearing suits. And I still remember, you know, like watching all the, you know, the previous drafts. And man, I went to Nordstrom's, man, and just picked out a suit and some. I felt so out of place because everybody was getting custom this, custom that. I mean, I didn't know how to do all that, man. I just went to Nordstrom's in downtown Salt Lake City, picked me up a suit, picked my cousin up a suit because we was the same size. And it was like, you know, I still have that suit. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it wasn't all about being fancy. It was just like, hey, we got to put on the suit. We got to put on the suit. That's it. So, you know, like I say, that was just the authentic part of me. I didn't know how to go, hey, let me go get a professional guy to size me up and lace me and look good. I was just the basic guy with a regular suit on, and it was just fun being there and looking at all the pictures that I took, you know, from the past. It was a great experience.
And that's like being honest, it's like staying in your means already, like running your own race. Like, I ain't got to do what y'all doing. Like, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to pick up. This suit's still going to be fly just like y'all's. You feel me? So, because it's Nordstrom.
Yeah. I never had, like, Nordstrom's was probably back then, to me, Nordstrom's was probably like, you know, what's these high-end stores?
But Tom Ford, Gucci, Chanel.
Nordstrom's was Tom Ford to me, you know, so, you know, if I was dressed in Nordstrom's, you know, you couldn't tell me nothing. So, you know, and of course, you know, I saved a little bit of money of my scholarship check, but it wasn't enough to, you know, I didn't know how to go get a line of credit. I didn't want to do that. You know, I just wanted to, you know, do everything the right way. The little bit of money that I saved from my scholarship check, I went and bought me and my cousin a Nordstrom suit. Yeah.
So you hear your name get called 8th by Cleveland. What's kind of going through your mind then and there?
Man, so, you know, like a lot of people talk about walking across the stage. And one thing I remember, like my mom, you know, I didn't even know that they had grabbed her and she did an interview on TV. So now you got, you know, black folks, we wasn't even talking back then. I didn't even know how to talk or do an interview or nothing. So I was like, man, you know, now I got to go talk. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole interviewing process, like how do you talk to the media? How do you deal with this and that? So, man, I was really, really nervous. You know, I got drafted by a team in Cleveland that, you know, I didn't know what to expect. You know, it was just hearing my name called. And, hey, soon as your name called, you do your interviews, and guess what? You got to fly to Cleveland, Ohio. And it was like, man, you hit the ground like rolling right away. It wasn't no rest. You know, from the time your name was called to the time you retired, it was no time to rest. Yeah. And you know that, Craig. You know, hey, the grind is real.
Yep. It's so real because, like, in my process, as soon as I got drafted, I got that call, I'm out ASAP.
Exactly.
I'm out ASAP. We got press conference. We got interviews. Hey, we're trying to do a little media training for you. But
yeah.
So it was cool. But I guess for me, like I had the blessing of like being in like, as far as in college, one of the top 5 media places in the world. So we kind of had like prep for it. And I think it's because of the times that you guys went through that they actually started to prep us a little bit more for the training, because it's like you're not lying. It's a freeway that you getting on, and this freeway ain't in traffic. This freeway starting off at about 75 miles per hour.
Yeah.
With some cats doing 100 already, talking about
definitely.
catch up, you know?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
long nights, early mornings.
Exactly.
And taking care of your body.
And I'm still recovering.
Yeah, because it's like, and I think a lot of people don't understand, like it's like a war mentality. Like you've been out so long battling war scars, war wounds, and then you get out and it's just like, man, I'm a little bit tired from it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's mentally, it's draining.
Yeah, it is, man. I tell people, man, you know, you watch these games, and I was talking to a couple friends the last few days, and we just kind of reminisce, you know, the competition level and the preparation of playing against the best. You know, there is nobody that you would say, oh, he's trash. There is no such thing as that. And you know, the only way I was telling my friends, I said, man, I didn't play that sport. I didn't play in the NBA. It didn't happen. It was just a dream. You know, I'm watching TV now, watching these guys do what they do. And I was like, man, I did that? No, I didn't. That didn't happen. That was a dream. That was a dream, and it didn't happen. And that's how I look at the experience. You know, that's how I have to look at it.
That's dope. That's a dope like concept though. Cause I didn't even like really think about that, to have it as a dream, like it keeps it more youthful and like more pure, as you talked about.
Mm-hmm. Like, yep, definitely.
What was your welcome to the league moment though? Like when did you like, oh, like, all right, this is what it is, or like somebody was like, all right, young fella.
Well, it was two instances. Both of them are pretty funny. Actually, the first one's not funny. I'll get that one out the way. I remember I was playing, we were on a road trip. And back then, you know, the league was like super physical. And I'm driving to the basket, and Oliver Miller is standing under the basket. And at that time, you know, Oliver Miller probably 6'9", 6'10", however big he was. And then they always got on him about the weight issue. And this was back then where you drive to the basket and somebody would crack you and the ref would not call foul. And this guy hit me so hard in my neck, like an elbow to the neck. I went flying and the referees didn't call anything. And I'm like, man, I want to kill this dude, but I'm a rookie. So I just laid there and chalked it up. I actually ended up running into that guy this past year playing in the golf tournament in Phoenix. But I didn't say nothing to him. I just looked at him like, man, this the dude that hit me. And then the other one was when I was in Cleveland. I don't know what I was thinking, but I tried to dunk on Shaq.
Oh my!
And that's when I had a little bit of athleticism, but it went quick. So I had to pick and choose when to jump and this and that. And I tried to drive baseline and raise up on Shaq. And man, that dude hit me so hard, man. I went flying back to the bench, stumbling back to the bench, and he came and helped me up. And he was like, "Hey, young fella, don't come back in here no more." And then I went and shot a free throw. And I literally could see like 2 or 3 rims. Like so I shot the free throw, but I shot it the wrong way. You know, and I never forget that experience, man. But he just laughed, man. What's crazy is he ended up giving me some autographed shoes after that, man. And,
that's awesome.
But man, you know, he cracked me pretty good, man. He cracked that. Yeah.
You 2 over 300-pound dude.
Man,
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's the definition of wanting the smoke right there. Like,
yeah, definitely. You know.
And I done seen you over your career catch a couple people bodying them, putting them in the rim. I didn't see them with my own eyes, so I know what you talk about your bounce. But it's just like, dang, especially like prime muscular athletic Shaq. Oh, he was trying to take your head off.
And he wasn't like these guys, like say it was all a dream to me, like just that experience. Some of those people, those the Shaqs, the Kobes, the Allen Iversons, you know, I got a taste of Michael Jordan a little bit. Man, those guys weren't real. Those guys weren't real to me. You know, like I mean, they were dream characters. Like, you know, they were somebody that was put on earth to make the world a better place or something. I don't know. But, you know, the experience, man, to be on the court with a guy that big, that could run that fast, that was funny and cool, but mean at the same time. You know, like, I mean, it was unreal, man. The list goes on and on. To see a guy like Vince Carter jump, you know, and I saw him doing it in college, you know, when we was in the Final Four, and I was like, man, this not real. This isn't real. You know, like what the hell is in his body? You know, so you know, it was a dream come true, man, for real.
Yeah, I've talked to Craig about that. Like, that's one thing I'll never be able to understand. Like, I can't imagine like checking into the court and like seeing someone I've looked up to like my entire, you know, life, and now I'm supposed to like play against them. It's just like something I'll never be able to experience or like understand. But that's just crazy to me. Like, you have to do that.
Yeah, I think I was like maybe like a year or possibly the same age as Stephon Marbury. And I remember having to guard him, I think my first game. And I'm like, whoa, I got to guard this muscle, athletic, change of pace, aggressive New York City guard. I'm like, whoa, you know, like,
yeah.
Hey, how am I going to guard this guy?
Yeah.
You know, so let me just stay in front of him. That wasn't even possible, you know, and that's how great, you know, guys from different backgrounds and cultures, you know, the craziest thing was even when Yao Ming came in the league, I'm like, hold the hell up. This is getting even crazy. You know, 7'5" guy coming from China. However tall, man, come on, man. The NBA ain't real. It ain't real. You know, it's not, you know.
For real.
Yeah.
Sounds like superhero characters, right?
Yeah,
what
straight
we
up.
talking about, right?
Straight up.
So you end up having a fantastic rookie year. You get named to the all-rookie team. How do you feel your first year went? And, you know, getting that all-rookie nod, like, what was kind of going through your head on that?
Man, I didn't know what to expect my rookie year. I tell people a story. When I got to Cleveland and I was, you know, went there and was getting, you know, situated to Ohio, and I was walking around the mall, and a couple cats from the streets were like, Miller, man, we don't need you here. We don't need you here. Like we already got guards, but you know, that rookie year, man, it was the hardest thing ever, man. You know, I don't haze teammates, you know, like make them carry bags and stuff and all that type of stuff. But I embraced it. You know what I'm saying? I embraced it. Like, you know what? Hey, I'm in the league. You know what I'm saying? They want me to carry bags. I'm going to carry bags. Yeah. They want me to go get some donuts. I'm going to go get some donuts. You know, Sean Kemp want me to go get a bucket of chicken and some cigarettes or something. I'm going to go get them. You know, so, you know, man, like I was playing with a legend in my eyes, Sean Kemp. You know what I'm saying? Like the Rain Man, you know? Yeah. So, you know, that experience, man, I didn't care about no accolades, man. I stayed healthy. I worried about staying healthy and earning the respect of my teammates, man. I was doing 3-man weaves and extra work for guys that didn't want to practice 24/7. And that's how I earned my respect. So it was great, man. It was great. The rookie sophomore game, the whole, that experience was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool because this is another question from Mike T. Your mental approach for that rookie season. It seems like one, you kind of took in what those fans were telling you and you used that as motivation. And then two, you found how easy it can be, especially having a guy like Sean Kemp around that can make your job easier for you to be successful out there. Just explain to the viewer your approach mentally that year and how you felt at the end of the day it went in your mind, and if it went, it.
Have you ever had a dreams that you had you could you do you want you could do so you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
If you can understand what I'm saying, like
yeah.
If it went as you thought it was in your approach.
Actually, what's crazy is I came into the locker room with some vets. Mark Bryan, who's on the Phoenix Suns bench.
Yep.
I still remember him, telling me put some bass in my voice. He hated how I called out plays. But at the same time, those vets, they was on you. They wasn't on you verbally. They was on you physically, like, hey, this is a man's game. Like physically, the physical part, I thought I was ready for it, which I was. But my approach, as much as I was soaking in and observing everything, I tried to lead by example. And also I became like no nonsense, like nobody's my friend. No, if I want to survive in this league, I have to be aggressive and no nonsense as my approach as a point guard. That, I understand that this position is not given and I have to earn it every day. I never took the position for granted. Anybody could take a spot, but, I'm going to challenge my teammates and practice with my aggression and my leadership and just leading by example. And I think that's why I earn the respect. And the thing is, the one thing that I told myself was, while I'm in this league, I want guys to play with me as the point guard. I know I could score. I know I could pass. I knew how to play the game and the IQ part. But the professional part is, Craig, like, hey, the worst is to have guys around you say, shit, man, I can't play with that. Man, that's
he be
my
tripping.
job.
I can't play.
This dude, and let me do my job and say, you know what? I want to help guys get paid. I'm going to think about my teammates first. I'm going to be selfless. I'm going to work hard and lead by example. And I want guys to say, you know what? I want to come play with Dre. I want to come play with Dre because Dre going to get me paid. Yeah. All I got to do is run. All I got to do is catch a lob. And he going to do the rest. He going to give me the ball where I need to catch it in the pocket and shoot the ball. And that's where I felt my longevity would come from.
Man, and that's so true because it goes, man, like if you do get in a situation as a guy like my stature as a forward, if you could really play with a good guard, you're going to be set for life. Because it's just like the guard puts you in the best position possible ever. If you do what you're supposed to do, guard gonna have it. You gonna get it easy. That's why it's you, Steve Nash. You know what I'm saying? Like these caliber type guards get guys paid yearly, 20 games signing, but you guys are pinnacle because you guys actually get a lot of people jobs.
Yeah, and you have to be a leader, and those wings and the bigs. Like, hey, I know if I make Craig Smith happy, guess what? He gonna have my back. He gonna set a screen for me. You know how I'm go down. Hey, he got my back. But if I can't make my big man happy, he ain't gonna protect the rim. He ain't gonna run hard, and that's why it's a team sport. So guys like I play Marcus Camby, Elton Brand. I played with some good guys, and my Andre Iguodala. Look at the career he had. He's having. You know what I'm saying? Like Lou Williams. Man, I was blessed enough to play with some good guys. Willie Green, who's coaching now. It's in the league. The media put out some perceptions of bad. To me, there is no bad guy in the NBA. To me, everybody's a good guy. It's just certain circumstances that happens along the way that we have to respond to and deal with, and that's how we deal with it. But everybody to me was a good guy, and they had a different approach to the game, and that's what makes the game special.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, because it goes, you made it to the league for a reason. You are good. Yeah. There's something that got you there. So, I totally agree with that. Mm-hmm. All right. So in your third season, you led the league in assists, Dre. Your third season, right? So how did you prepare differently before this season? And then when did you realize you kind of had like a sublime Bruce Leroy glow? Like, oh, okay. Like, I got this now. I know the glitch in the matrix of the league now.
Yeah, it was, during that time, man. I mean, I don't know if you remember. I mean, I think when they did the episode on The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, when he came back, I think between my second and third year, and then the hype around the league was like, and you hear these stories. Like he coming back, Michael Jordan, like the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like it was hype. Then I'm like, man, this really the NBA. So I gotta be on it. And I'm in the Eastern Conference, and this guy is coming. You get to see him. You get to see Vince Carter. You get to see so many great players. And man, it was so competitive, man. And that was something that just happened. And I like to give credit to is John Lucas.
John Lucas. Shout out John Lucas.
Lucas told me he would always call me Richard Pryor, like, Richard, just get it and go, Richard. Just get it and go. He will always encourage me to just, be a lot more vocal. You know what I'm saying? I play with some athletes, Ricky Davis. And look, man, I had some shooters around me, man. I had Wesley Person, Lamont Murray, Trajan Langdon, Danny Ferry.
Was Bobby Sura with y'all?
B Soup was with us. I had some real shooters. So all I had to do was just get them that ball, man, and just let it fly. You know what I'm saying? I thought that we would have been a really good team, but I believe that was the year that Zydrunas had broke his foot. Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
Yeah, Gauskas.
He had broke his foot in practice, man. But man, we had some guys that can go, man. And it was just, the assist was easy to come by just because guys wanted to catch that ball and shoot. But, everything else, that's when I figured out, my niche in the balance of scoring and assisting. That was the year that I was like, okay, it finally became easy by the third year.
So now after playing in Cleveland, you get to come back home. You get to come back home to LA and play for the Clippers. How was that experience? Like, give me detail that call. Was you excited? And then let's just talk about playing in LA, like back at the crib, man. Full circle moment.
Man, what was crazy is, man, I should have just kept my mouth closed before I asked for that trade, because that was the year that, I was approached by Cleveland, and they told me that the following year after that, it was coming up for contract year, for an extension that, they was going to basically tank the next season to draft LeBron. So I'm like, wait, hold up. Wait a minute. That's when I'm like, hold up, the NBA ain't real now. they lose games on purpose. And I'm like, so I remember them telling me they wanted me to go give LeBron James an award. a high school player of the year award. And I didn't know who the heck LeBron James was at the time. So I go meet LeBron like, man, hey, go to college, man, get an education, you know. I'm not knowing. I'm talking to LeBron James. So I went back to management, told them to trade me. My agent was like, ask for a trade because they're not going to pay you. They're going to tank the season. They're going to draft LeBron James. That was the year before it happened. So as soon as I asked for that, I was traded to the Clippers. And, you know, that year before you had D. Miles and Quentin Richardson. They was doing the knuckle stuff on their head. And then you bring my boring self, you know, that's from the – I'm a boring guy. You know, I just play basketball. They make me up in the above the rim, throwing lobs and stuff. And then I come home to L.A. And you know how it is, Craig, playing in your own city. You play for the Clippers. You know, we both bounced around. And, man, the family, the friends, it was like, man, I had to go into hiding or something. You know, like I was running. I was running from family, aunties, uncles, cousins, homeboy. Oh, man, it was like, can we get tickets? Can we get tickets? You know, so, you know, the experience was good, you know, but at the same time, for career-wise, basketball-wise, it wasn't as great, you know, because, you know, it was just too much, you know, on the shoulders of me, like, hey, I got to be able to go out and perform, but then, okay, forget just going home or going to the gym and get some shots up. Or I'm going to go to the neighborhood. Or I'm going to go get some home-cooked meal for mom or something like that and hang out. So it was a balance to it, but, you know, I'd rather that not happen. But, you know, again, it was a dream. It happened. I enjoyed it. You know, I played with – that was probably the most talented team that I played with. Probably one of the most talented teams that I played with. You know, so, you know, if I could have stayed there longer, it would have been cool. You know, you had Elton Brand, Corey Maggette, Lamar Odom, Quentin Richardson, Michael Olowokandi. It was talent. It was talent everywhere on that roster. So, you know, it was a rough experience, but I got up out of there right after that 1 year.
Yeah, because I mean, it is a little bit of a distraction because it goes like, man, even if I go down the street, I'm gonna see somebody I know. We're gonna get into this long conversation. Then they're gonna try to come to the game, maybe, you know. So I can't just go from the gym to my house, not be bothered, or you know what I'm saying? Like something's gonna go on in the city. So
yeah, definitely.
I totally get that. I totally understand that, man. So, but yeah.
Luckily, I wasn't no clubber like that. If I was a clubber and a hangout and a drinker like that, I would have been under the rug somewhere.
I feel like going back to the Cleveland thing, we got to throw this in. We've had two of your former teammates, Ricky and Jermaine, on, and from their stories, I think you dodged a bullet getting out of there the year you did, because we heard some horror stories about that tank.
Oh year.
We heard
which team? Cleveland?
Yeah. Ricky Davis and Jermaine Jones.
Ricky told us a story about something that happened the year after you left. Yeah, where he had to have like a meeting with the organization, and like it was crazy.
No, I didn't even know that. Me and Ricky D, we was cool. You know, I was throwing him lives, you know, and you know, it was just we was kids, man. We was kids, but I didn't know all the drama what was going on afterward because they was losing.
Jermaine Jones, he told us as well that they were completely canceling practices that year just so they could work out LeBron James. They weren't even practicing.
Because that's when John Lucas ended up getting fired, you know, and it was a lot of stuff. I think John Lucas might have got fired my third year, or Keith Smart must have took over or something like that. But I can only imagine what was going on with all that losing.
Yeah, Hoss.
Yeah.
So after leaving LA, you go to Denver, right?
Yeah, 6-year deal.
Denver, yeah, 6-year deal at Denver, right? And you play there for 3. But then you part of an iconic trade too, where you get to go to Philly for the Allen Iverson trade. Let's talk about.
I was mad. I'm gonna tell you, hey, that's when, like, I asked for the trade from Cleveland. I asked to get up out of there, which I should have kept my mouth closed. And in the Denver trade, man, we was gelling, man. From what I was told, me and Carmelo was the guys. It was our team. He's a young buck right there standing next to LeBron James coming in. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of hype around Carmelo, and the city was buzzing. Went to the playoffs those 3 years, and then, I'm the first to go. And it wasn't about the trade. It was how I got traded. You know what I'm saying? I was actually practicing when I got traded. I was at practice, and they like, hey, the trade went down, and I'm like, man, I hope it ain't me. And then I get a call from my mom, like, you've been traded to Philly. So Rex Chapman, because the management had just took over for Kiki Vandeweghe was let go, and they brought me in and was like, hey, we need you to start packing up. And I was like, man, I'm not going nowhere. They're like, man,
the LA came out, huh? LA, yeah.
Man, I ain't going nowhere, man. I ain't even got nobody watch my pit bulls. So they was like, Allen Iverson is already on the way here. And I'm like, what?
What?
He already on the airplane on the way to Denver. So right after that trade happens, I had, like, they say you got like 48 hours to report.
Yeah.
And then a blizzard hits. And it was like one of the worst blizzards in Denver history, where like cars were stuck on the freeway for like 8-9 hours. It was bad. Do you know them that management Nuggets? They sent the limo to my house, and they picked me up and took me to like a little bitty airport. And it was probably like, the plane was probably about the length of the car, probably of a Suburban or something with propellers on it. And they shot me all the way to Philly, man. Swept that runway and put me on that little bitty plane, man. I had some Tide detergent in the book bag, and I was up out of there, man. So, I was real salty over that. But, I got traded for a legend, though. So, I ain't, if you would have traded me for a bag of nickels or something like that, then oh man, y'all really think I'm trash. But I got traded for Allen Iverson, so I was good. I was good to go.
That's like a flex you can carry on for the rest of your life too.
That's a definite flex.
I was traded for Allen Iverson.
Like they wanted me, and to give up Allen Iverson, they wanted me.
Yeah, they wanted me. Yeah, straight up. That's how I look at it. They're like, man, get your stuff and get up out of here, man. We got Allen Iverson. But the Philly experience played out, man. That was around the time I think Allen Iverson like practice. And then they shipped him out to Denver, and then I came over there like, okay, I'll practice. Yeah, I'll practice. I'll be a leader. The worst team in the NBA at the time.
True.
So, but
you had a young Iggy too, though.
I had the young Iguodala. I had the young Willie Green. I had the young Thaddeus Young.
Dallenberg.
I had Sam Dallenberg. I had the young Lou Williams.
Yeah, you did.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's probably why they moved AI, because they see Lou Will. Lou Will was looking up to AI.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, but it was a great experience.
So going to that year to Philly, what was kind of the environment like after, the face of the franchise is now gone? What was it kind of like coping with all of that? And, did the city act weird in that way?
Man, it wasn't about meeting the expectations or trying to be like Allen Iverson, because that wasn't happening. And one thing that I figured out, from being a visitor and just playing there right away, was the fans are passionate. And y'all see what Ben Simmons had to deal with, you know what I'm saying? And for me was, this is a blue collar city that appreciate hard work. They appreciate guys that's going to come out and play and work hard and represent the organization the right way. And they cool with it.
Yeah.
Now they still gonna call you some names here and there, but my experience there, I didn't like the city, but I liked it when I appreciated it, and I loved the city when I left. Because my mindset was just, hey, I gotta help this team get to the playoffs, which we end up going to the playoffs those 2 years. So I think I was appreciated there, and actually I still have a relationship with the organization. So, it was all good for me.
I think you was appreciated anywhere you went. I'm gonna be honest. Based upon your game and who you are as a person, I'm pretty sure every organization definitely should have valued you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you brought more than just your game to the table, which a lot of guys don't do in this league. You know what I'm saying? And being that you a good dude, like it showed, and it showed purely through your game.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, I feel like you don't play 17 years in the league for nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
But after Philly, you went to Portland. You spent 3 years there, and you scored a 50-piece. You had 52.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was on accident.
How you accidentally dropped 52?
That was on accident, but the little bit of arrogance that I got in me, I was like, I felt real good, and I was like, I tell my friends, man, look, I probably could have dropped a 60 ball, 65, because it felt that good, and not only did it feel good, the team that I did it against, who ended up winning the championship, was Dallas. So at that time, they was a number one defensive team in the league.
Yeah.
So I put that up against Jay Kidd, Terry, Barrera, Stevenson, Sean Marion. Man, I thought I was doing something, but hey man, in that environment, man, you know how it is, Craig, when you get in that zone. You know what I'm saying? And every player, I think every player at one point in their career had that moment. Where they just felt like, I really had it going. And that was one of I don't think I sweated that game.
That's a bar. And just to talk about like that moment of feeling, like to the viewer, it's like the basketball rim is as wide as the ocean.
Oh, it was not only was it wide, I knew it was crazy. I knew I was on when I actually shot a sky hook. I shot a sky hook, a point guard. I thought I was Magic Johnson. I'm like, oh man, yeah. They tripping. I done shot a sky hook, and for your teammates to cheer you on, and it was like, really, it kind of felt like at times it was just like me out there by myself, like just
like old times as a kid, right?
Yeah, what's that movie? Above the Rim, when dude was out there
on the
playing
court
outside by himself without the ball. Yeah, that's what I felt like. So man, it felt good, man. It definitely felt good.
You also had an Iron Man streak of 632 games, the most consecutive games you play until it was ended by the suspension. All right, let's just talk about one, like the process of keeping yourself in elite shape, not getting injured, and playing all these consecutive games. That was on some AC Green stuff, man.
Yeah. I wasn't no virgin though, so I wasn't no virgin though. But look, man. I took pride in being available. I took pride, man. Like, it's easy to wake up and say, you know what, I don't got it today. I never for once woke up and said, you know what, I don't want to play basketball today.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I was as tired as I was, man, I wanted to hoop. And I got the most out of dribbling that basketball to the point where when it was time for it to be over, I was like, man, I'm cool. I'm cool because I put so much effort and time. I didn't even know how many games that I played during that time. during that span. Basically, I fulfilled my contract without missing games almost. Just that one suspension. I played out a 6-year contract, I believe.
Yeah.
And the appreciation came from when I did get suspended. LaMarcus Aldridge, man, they gave me they just gave me, I forgot they gave me a poster or something, like a framed picture with the games that I played and the teammates and all that, man. And that was actually one of the coolest times where I felt appreciated. It wasn't like, hey, man, you got NBA Defensive Player of the Year, or you made an All-Star selection, or you was the MVP, or man, they gave me an award, man, in practice for playing games, not missing games. Man, that made me feel better than anything, man. You can forget an MVP, like appreciation for being available from your teammates. That made me feel good, man.
Yeah, that's dope. Shout out LaMarcus Aldridge.
Oh,
man.
yeah, good dude, man.
Good guy.
But yeah, like Craig said earlier when we introduced you, you only missed 3 games due to injury in your entire 17-year career. And the fact that you were able to play 17 years is insane. Like you don't see that
really
anymore.
Insane.
You don't see that.
Really, it was only one game, the injury, and 2 funerals.
Wow.
2 funerals. So it was one. I had a separated shoulder, and the other 2 were 2 funerals.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
As that career goes on, right? Obviously, your body's aging, and it's harder to perform at that peak level that you're used to. How do you adjust to be able to, still be able to contribute to your team, still be able to hold your value? Because you don't see guys go to 39 anymore in the NBA unless if they're like, top tier superstar.
I think it became easier because as you got older, you figured out, Craig, as you get older, you figure out your body a lot more.
Yeah.
I had weight issues at time. I always came in maybe 10 to 15 pounds overweight, but I knew how to manage it. I knew how to rest my body. And, I figured out how to make the game easier for myself. You know what I'm saying? To the point where I didn't have to expend as much energy, and still be able to compete at a high level. So, the main thing was just figuring out, the summertime, how to, I rest my body, I gain my weight naturally and I lose my weight naturally. I lift my weights and sometimes I wouldn't. Just a pretty good balance that I had. And, one thing, like you said, Craig, that was crazy, back then, just imagine us going in the gym and us early on being able to have 3 or 4 coaches that rebound for us. Like we get up Stephen Curry type shots and our shots to be wet, but you couldn't ask no coach, a coach or somebody, couple people, hey man, come rebound for me. And man, get up out of here, man. I ain't rebound. Get your own rebound. You know what I'm saying? So I'm shooting. I gotta go chase my ball. I'm working out by myself. You know what I'm saying? And that I think I wish I would have been a lot more sociable, where I would have worked out with guys in the summertime. But it was like, man, everything that I did was behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Let me go work out by myself. If anything, I bring a couple friends. Hey, y'all rebound me. I throw y'all a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? Y'all rebound. We do it that way. But I'm not going to go in the gym and work out with guys that I'm playing against. So that's
because one, it was that era, and then 2, what you talked about, like I can't be genuine to everybody. Everybody ain't my friend out here. So in that era was different. In this new era, we got to see the difference of guys, really working out together. But back then, like that, it wasn't really that case unless y'all was hooping, like hooping against each other.
Yeah. It was tough, man. It was no friends. It was a lot more. It was men back there. It was men back then. It was men in the league. Mark Bryant, Patrick Ewing. I don't even know if I played against him, but it felt like it was a whole bunch of Patrick Ewings.
Yeah. Oakley was still
Charles
in there.
Oakley. I got a chance to play against Scottie Pippen. I got a chance to play against Kukoc. I got a chance to play against what's that? I had to guard that. What's the one dude? Rest in peace to him. Anthony Mason. Man, a penitentiary point guard. A penitentiary point guard, man. Like, are you serious? I got to guard this buff 6'9" point guard. You know, it was some real Ben Wallace. You know what I'm saying? It was men, you know. So I enjoyed it.
All right, this is our segments. So this one we're gonna start it off. It's called the Rhino Vision. And as a point guard, can you explain your favorite play in detail so the viewer can get an image in their head of the play, whether you scored or dunked or passed an assist? And I mean, since you had 52, I'm sure it was from the 52 piece. So
you saying, like, give you an example of a play that I got.
Yep, one of your favorite plays that you love, whether it was like a pick and roll or it was an ISO for you or it was something on the block, because you did have post work too. You know what I'm saying?
My thing, it was a couple of them. You know, the post stuff, it was kind of like you fall into that at times. I think, man, the most basic that I can get it was like, you know, I think I probably took this to every team, and every team always knew it. Like the floppy set.
Yep.
The damn floppy set and bigs and wings not being aware of what the hell, where the ball is going to go.
Yes.
And just the eye communication of me to a wing or me to a big, like, if they not paying attention, let me throw this to the rim.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like that. And teams knew it was coming, but I would get that every team that I played on. And you know, every team run floppy set. Team run floppy set. You know, and the easiest thing for me, what I got joy of, was catching people. Let me throw this to the rim.
Catch them slipping, yeah.
And I knew teams would prepare for it. Like, you know, to get a lob on Shaq, to throw a ball over Shaq's head and somebody catch a lob on him, or like, man, and my teammates enjoyed it. They was looking for it, like, hey, we know the flow of the game going to floppy. Bam, we know that zip pass is coming for a quick pass or a lob. You know, the pick and roll stuff, you know, that was probably more pressure than anything, the pick and roll for me, just because I knew I always tried to make the right decision. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you got to worry about, you know, them disrespecting you and going under the pick and roll, or, you know, how aggressive, the feel of the game. That's a little bit more pressure than making a pass and getting a live dunk. So, you know, that was my highlights.
So for everybody who don't know, a floppy set is normally like a pin down on both sides from the big to the two wings, where the guard is at the top of the key. One guard can go either way, being that it might be the top shooter who gets to decide whether he comes out on the same side or go across to the other side. If he goes across to the other side, he's basically getting like a double screen. And the opposite wing has to go to the opposite side, whether that is the same side for him or the opposite side. So when that happens and the big sets the screen, sometimes the defensive big may try to hedge up to protect the guard who just got screened. So therefore, Andre always will throw that lob if he sees that big move any inch. Just like Tom Brady in effect. Like when Tom Brady sees the defender move his hips or lean one way, he knows to zip that ball through and he's going to get it in there.
Yeah. So perfect analogy.
We'll hop into the Give a Dog a Bone segment next. It's just a bunch of rapid fire questions for our listeners to get to know you a little bit better. Started this off. This is the Underdogs podcast. We got to know what your favorite dog breed is, but I think you may have answered that already.
Man, I mean, I love pit bulls growing up. And I got 3 dogs running around here, man. One of them, I don't even know what he is. He mixed with horse. So I love pit bulls, man.
Okay. Favorite musical artist?
Man, all of them. All of them. Favorite music? If I had to say right now, I'm a Drake fan.
Okay.
Do Do you have a current favorite Drake song?
I like that Drake song with Future. I forgot the name of it, man.
Was it What a Time to Be Alive?
Nah,
on that album?
Where it sounds like Future barking or something, like he like, woo.
Yeah.
I like that one. I like that one. Yeah.
Right. Favorite shoe?
Favorite shoe? Some Chucks. Chuck Taylor.
Favorite city to play in? And it doesn't need to be a team you played for, just like any city that you played in. What was the best one?
Man, Miami, Toronto.
Toronto, really? We haven't heard that one yet.
Toronto, yeah. Miami, Toronto, New York,
all the big cities.
Oh, yeah, all the big cities. All the big cities where I get to go outside.
All right. Would you rather have 20 points or 10 assists?
Both.
He said both. Only one, though. You only get one. 10
assists.
Okay. Who was your favorite teammate that you could pass to because you knew you'd get an assist every time?
Ooh. Wow. Early on, probably Lamar Murray.
Oh, yeah, Lamar get buckets.
Lamar
get buckets.
Lamar
Shout out Lamar Murray.
Yeah, I knew he would get bucket.
Who is your best dunker of all time?
Vince Carter.
The only right answer.
That's a good one.
What is your favorite hobby aside from basketball?
Man, my favorite hobby is roller skating. I'm a roller skater. I skate, man.
Okay.
You was at World on Wheels, I know.
Oh, man. Yeah, all of them. I'm still rolling.
Hardest player to guard?
Allen Iverson.
Best defender versus you?
Ron Artest.
Least favorite city or stadium to play in?
Least favorite cities. Oh. Man. I don't know. Maybe New Jersey or something like that. When they was in New Jersey.
The Meadowlands.
The Meadowlands was trash.
Yeah.
I hated that gym.
Oh, first like Gotham City.
Yeah, man, that gym was horrible.
I liked Sed's answer last week. He just said anywhere cold.
Yeah.
Favorite game you remember playing in?
Favorite game I remember playing in? Man, the first time Carmelo and LeBron played against each other in Denver.
Ooh, that must have been sick.
That was both those games. The first time they played against each other in Cleveland and the first time they played against each other in Denver. Those were like two of the best games, like most hyped games I've ever been in.
Is it hard to like just not sit back and be a fan of basketball and just like a fan of the sport in those moments?
Yeah.
Did you ever get caught watching? Shit, we in the game too.
I mean, LeBron when he came in, yeah, he was doing some ridiculous stuff like, hey man, you're not 18, man, you like 26 or something, man. You like a quadruple, triple holdback or something. Like, there ain't no baby supposed to come out doing that. Like he was that guy. Yeah, for real.
Right. Favorite movie?
Shaka Zulu.
Oh man, super throwback. Yeah, Jordan, you will never. Jordan was born in '90s, not in the late '90s. So
Shaka Zulu. Hey, you might as well just get 3 days out of the way, and that's gonna take you about 2 or 3 days to watch that movie.
I'm gonna write this. What? Shaka Zulu?
Yeah. It's about this guy. It's about this African guy. He looked like Michael Jordan. And you watch it, and he killing everybody.
Man, up to the list.
Everybody.
Yeah, he wild.
Okay. Yeah, Craig and Mike have been giving me movie recommendations to watch that I've been going through. I'm slacking on it, though.
I made him watch The Wood.
Oh, man.
Classic. That was a good one.
Yeah.
He kept quoting Stacy, and I didn't know what he was saying, so he was like, "You gotta watch it." All right. Favorite current player?
Ja Morant.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Favorite all-time player?
Favorite all-time player is Magic Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you think the finals matchup will be this year?
I want to see Dallas. And who Miami play?
Boston.
I want to see Jimmy Butler get one. I want to see Jimmy Butler and the Heat get one. I want to see that team get one.
Miami versus Dallas. That'll be a good series too.
Miami versus Dallas, but I mean, I'm happy for all 4 teams though.
Yeah, because Jordan don't like that answer. He's a Boston guy.
Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah. I got a thing with Boston.
Ooh, I gotta hear it now.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
All right. We'll wait. All right. So we'll go ish here. Who do you think the best player under 25 is? And like plus or minus a few years if you're not too familiar with ages anymore.
Luka.
He's been
Luka.
Killer. I'm honestly
Luka definitely.
Luka's cold. Yeah, I know LeBron did a Q&A on Twitter last night and he was saying Luka is his favorite player right now.
Oh, Luka, man.
Luka's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, and what is something you wish fans knew or understood better?
I wish fans understood the pressure and the grind. You kind of forget that these athletes are real people. You know what I'm saying? So, all this stuff that's going on with, like when the fans spit on, who's that, Trey Young. These are real people that go out and they got, as much as fun as we have families to take care of, and it's a business. And, I wish the fans really understood how tough and how hard it is. Cause, sometimes think, oh, you just dribble a basketball. No, you just don't dribble a basketball. It's a lot. There's more to it. The game is the reward. The game is the reward.
Awesome. Yeah, that's going to do it for the Give a Dog a Bone segment. Kurt, I'll give it over to you.
All right. We got 3 more questions for you, but this one is Mike's mental minutes. All right. In his mental minute, Mike asks, you play for 10 NBA teams. That's a third of the NBA. Was it easy adjusting to those cities and the team?
Well, really, it was 9. It was 9 teams in 17 years.
Yep.
And the adjustment wasn't hard. It was getting acclimated to your teammates. You know what I'm saying? How are you gonna fit in a locker room? Do you walk on eggshells, or do you just be yourself? You kind of feel your way through it. So I think just getting used to new teammates.
Yeah, because it's just like when you go into a job, you got different work. You got to understand, like, all right, I got to understand this person's mental, and I got to come in here and not try to be a distraction too, and try to make everything gel as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. Got to take care.
Yeah, because you never know, right? Like you coming in a situation now. Like you said, you going into Denver. All right, we got this new guy, Carmelo. We got a young fella. We got to make sure we mentor him. But I got some older cats who might be my age or above. So, we got to make sure we on the same page for this young fella so we can get this thing going.
Exactly. Definitely.
Sure. Appreciate that for Mike's mental minute. Now, what is your funniest NBA moment?
Funniest NBA moment. Oh man, there's so many of them. It's the funniest NBA moment. Man, there's a few. Rat running on the court in practice in New York. That was a funny one.
How did the rat wait? Where was y'all at? Y'all was in the
We
garden.
was in New York. We was in the garden. And we was a shoot around, man, and a rat just walked on the court, man. Like, hey, man, what this? And man, that rat was swole, man. That rat was big, man. Like, man, where the hell did this rat come from? You know what I'm saying? But that was probably one of the funniest moments. One of the funniest is always Shaq, man. It's always Shaq, man. But I remember he was playing in Phoenix, and at halftime he came out, and I believe it was Donyell Marshall was on Philadelphia. I was on Philadelphia, and Donyell Marshall came out after halftime, and we used to always call him Ludacris. We were like, Luda. So Shaq came out, and he was like, hey, come here, man. Bring your cheeks here. He gave him a hug, man. And he grabbed his butt, man. I'm like, man, we're like, what are you doing, man? But it was like funny. He just cuffed his butt, man. I'm like, man, this dude crazy. But it was like, I guess they must have knew each other just joking around. But you know, man, them kind of stories, man, some weird stories, man.
Some real funny stories.
Yeah, it's always.
Yeah. So y'all really had Jerry from Tom and Jerry come on the court in New York City, huh?
Straight up. That was Jerry's cousin, the buff mouse.
And you sure you're not related to Richard Pryor? Because now you've been having me laughing this whole interview, bro.
Yeah, nah, man. I be joking, man. That's all I do is joke and clown now, man. I don't take too much serious, man.
Of course, man. As you should.
All right, we'll close out the episode as we do every episode. What would you say the biggest lesson you learned is throughout your entire journey?
The biggest lesson that I learned, I mean, in that business world, you're like, wow, that's a good question. Man, every decision you make got a consequence to it. Every decision like that's what I talk to these young kids that I cross. Like, there's no filter. At least they think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, every decision you make got a consequence to it, you know, so be careful what you ask for, you know, especially in that NBA lifestyle, and just got to enjoy the moment because it's over quick, as me and Craig know. As quick as you get there, we had long years. Quick as you get there, it's going to be over in a flash. And that's why they call it a dream. That's why I call it a dream. It's over.
Yeah. Thank you, Dre, for this wonderful interview. We really appreciate it. Yeah. We appreciate it, man. Much love. We really appreciate this, man. I mean, like, in my eyes, you're a Hall of Famer. You're one of the greatest guards to ever play the game. It's been a joy since a kid to have and watch you play. And just been an honor having this interview, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Blessings to you, man. You had a great career too, man. And let's keep uplifting these young brothers and sisters, man. And we got to take care of our health and much health and wealth to you and your family and both of you guys. So I appreciate you guys having me on anytime.
Thank you. That's going to do it for episode 14 of the Underdogs podcast. See you guys next week. Peace.
Hey, y'all take care, man.